Welcome back to our fire sprinkler class under our mechanical and plumbing and fire design class course. Today let's I we have a big plan to work on today, but I would like us to go over one mini issue I encountered in the last um design, the coffee shop, the sprinkler system for the coffee shop, right? So let's do that. So I'm going to just quickly go over this point of importing that file AutoCAD DWG, because I noticed that the pipes were not exactly aligned. So this is it. So you already understood how I got to that point. So let's just see what we can do, right? Besides, this is going to give you a better idea. Okay, let's go here. This is our layout, right? And let's do this. Remember this view. I have to reduce this to make this appear better, right? I just want to ensure that our pipes are laid out correctly, so that when you do that auto fittings, it works, right? So let's draw pipe. I don't know what is on, but let's draw pipes, right? You can see this green just means that it is following the point we've given it, right? This is something that I didn't really pay attention to in that last one, right? Wait, what have I done? Okay, just normal pipe, right? Right, you see those green snap points just show that it has acknowledged that place as a junction, right? Just like how in AutoCAD it acknowledges certain points, right? Okay. Then you see this is missing stepping to the one. That's not what we want. We want it to be at this junction. I know we had an issue with this place that time. Right, so let's try and get it right. Shift. Yes, that's where we want it. Right, then our pipe is still on. Then this goes and starts there. Good. Right. Although that is not very aligned, shall Control Z. Okay, let's do that again. Okay, from the end point here straight to this point. Or could it be that this thing did not align? It's possible that it did not align. Let's delete it and do it again. Because I need to start from this junction, right? Because this is a very critical junction. See, it's not snapping the way we would have wanted it to. Oh, this is where it even snapped to before, right? So I wonder why that is the case. Let's try and delete whatever this is. This is text. Let's go for text, and if maybe that might be affecting the this thing, right? Oh, still not working. Because if it doesn't snap, right? Let's see if we can move that. Escape. Move this out of here. No, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. That's Control Z. I want to move this guy. This guy, because it is apparently I can't move it, right? But it's really constituting a nuisance, right? How is just a way to move it? Okay, yes, there is. So it is blocking what we want, right? I hope it works now, right? Perfect. Not exactly. It's snapping to this point. That's not what I want, right? But we'll have to manage this, right? The only problem now is that it's not going to be straight, right? So so if you have to choose between it being straight and it's not, because it has to meet at that point. Let's try something else. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. Control Z, right? We have to find a way around this, right? So that's not where I want it to be. It's supposed to be at this intersection. Okay, let's try something else. Okay, starting from this point, we'll have to find another point and just drop it. Okay. Oh, it doesn't even seem to be, it's not even straight. Okay, let's confirm that it's all on the straight line. Okay, it is. So this is the best we could do, right? Let's see. I'm sure that this works. Right, the whole point of this is just that green is there. It's just so that the system identifies this as a junction, because if it doesn't, when you want to auto fit, it's not going to answer you. Right? Good. Then the final pipe will be here to here. Right? It's not a very accurate, it's not straight, it's not very appealing, but this is a case where um is really no longer, like, we have to choose between, okay, there's supposed to be another one coming here. We have to choose between it looking good. I mean, for some reason it didn't work, and I believe that is because this software just has some kind of glitches, right? And then also the way the file was imported is probably another issue. So if you ever encounter a problem like that, try to make like a bit of adjustment to your DWG file and then resave it, right? Because the however this software perceives your DWG file is how it's going to work with it, right? So that's probably an issue from there. Right? But then that is if you really want it to like look really good. So now we are sure that it is a junction, right? Let's do auto fit. You see, okay. So it has given you the fixed fittings we wanted. This was a challenge last time, right? So that is good. That is good. So now we are done with that. I think that was the only thing that we had issues with. So let's move on to the main design for today. Okay, we'll be looking at this residential building with 3 floors. So there's a basement floor. As you can see, this is the grade level, right? Then this is the first floor, and then we have a second floor as well. Now, second floor also includes this outdoor space that has this trellis. It's called a trellis. It's a wooden architectural element, right, for aesthetics and for beautification of the building, right? Now, usually outdoor spaces don't usually have sprinkler systems, but because I did a bit of research and I discovered that the fact that these wooden beams are here introduces a level of hazard to this space, right? So I'm going to also include sprinklers on this, right? So this is the architectural file. Let's see other information. So these are like the floor. This is the basement plan. Just this small space. That is the basement, right? Where the car is, the garage too, right? You can see this is the rest of the building above here, right? So this is like a raised floor. It's a crawl space. So this is the first floor, second floor. What else do we have here? Then this is the roof plan too, right? Right, these are all the elevations. You can feel free to pause at any time to really take time to look at the building, right? So you see that it's not even a normal gable or hip roof. It is, I would like call it a flat roof. It looks like a flat roof, right? It looks like a flat roof because, yeah, you see what I say, it's called a trellis. It looks like a flat roof, but the slope is very high. Luckily, we don't really care about the type of roof for this sprinkler plan. So let's continue. Right, then this is other architectural. These are sections, right? Here and there. Then this is the staircase area too. So it's very important. Then these are the door schedules and window schedules. It's very important to understand your project. Scan through. This is the architectural file of this project. It's very important to scan. Okay, we are done. Very important to scan through your project before starting your design, right? Because scanning your, oh, I have to close this, right? Also helps you to understand your project better, right? So now we have all the floors out here. I already slept in a bit of the design myself, but we understand how I got to this point. But let's just go back and see. I've put this in a different layer, Right, so I'll turn it off so we can see what it looks like. Right, turn it off here. Right, so now what we have is just the sprinklers, right, in each of the floors. So this is the basement floor. You can see the size, and this means that the staircase, this staircase is leading up and outside of this area. Remember that the building, the the basement floor was some part of it was exposed, right? It's not like some other basement where the entire basement is under the ground, right? So this is how you can go upstairs and out, right? Then this is how you can go upstairs into the building itself. So right, this, because it's an enclosed space and because there's a hazard of fire because of the car presence, there's need for sprinklers, right? So we used the 15. Wait, give me a second. We used the 15, being that it is a residential building. It is the lowest of the hazards, so it is a light hazard, and this is the one that has that 15 by 15 feet um area coverage for each sprinkler. So for this, each sprinkler here, we set it to use um a radius of 7.5 feet, which is also something like, let's say we have a sprinkler here. Let's draw a circle of coverage. So from the center, okay, turn this back on so I can easily click to the point, right? So they're asking us to specify the radius of this circle, right? Then they want to specify diameter. When drawing it, you can click this, but it's radius we need. So radius will be 7.5. I'm going to type it, 7.5 feet. Okay, that is inches, feet. Enter. Alright, so this is the coverage of each of the sprinklers. And you see that I've already arranged in such a way that this one covers here, and by the time we covers here, I mean, I already did this because I didn't want to spend too much time arranging it while on this class. So you can see from the arrangement. Now, it's very important to understand that aesthetics is important. Aesthetics, when I say aesthetics, I'm referring to the presentation, how it's represented. I could have scattered this, right? But it is arranged so that when somebody is looking at it, both on plan and when it has been done, it is presentable, right? And the fact that it does its work, right? I mean, if you have to choose, functionality is usually more important, but if you can make functionality work as well as presentation, even better, right? So let's delete that. So let's look at the other ones I placed and ask and see why I placed them the way I did, right? So this is the first floor, and I think we should turn that layer back on, right? So I've created a separate layer for it. Let's turn it back on and let's see for ourselves what the coverage is like, right? So now let's start here. This is that staircase coming up out of that basement, right? So now there's a sprinkler here, right? And then at the end there's also a sprinkler because this one, you can see that the coverage doesn't get to this point, right? And putting sprinklers for a staircase area is a bit tricky because the floor is not exactly level. There's like a rising floor, right? But thankfully we have like a ceiling area, right? The ceiling of this place, that's where we're installing this. So it's just going to cover over this cascading staircase, right? This sloping staircase, and this also covers, right? But we'll also look at another staircase, right? Which is this, where this is the staircase that leading to the second floor. So it means at some point there will be like one very long wall here. So the ceiling level is just going to be one ceiling level that is going to be over the entire floors, like the entire staircase, right? And there are going to be like four flights of staircase. One going up here, one going up here, right? Another one coming up here. It's like half, right? And then it's going to be about four. If you even see it in the, you also see it here. This is the second and third, the third and fourth, right? So now the importance of this now means that there's going to be an area around where there's no ceiling to install sprinklers, and most of the sprinklers we use are ceiling installed, right? That's why there's also the importance of having other types of sprinklers. So in this case, I chose to use a wall mounted sprinkler. So at least you are sure that this wall is going to have like entire coverage over this space. At least it's going to protect it to an extent, because there's no like particular ceiling, right, that can handle entirely this place. In this second floor, there's a ceiling. There'll be a ceiling above, because this is where it ends. So that ceiling can cover this space, and you see that it still covers for the area we wanted it, so it's entirely covered, right? But there will be a case where, if for example under this flights of staircase now there's an incident, this the only place this water will trickle in is just from this middle point, right? And that is not very effective, hence the need of adding this, right? So in any case, right, it's always better to over design, right, than under design. Not like you should over design to a great extent, but if you see that the alternative is insufficient, you have to like make over design necessary. As you can also see here, right, I mean, I could have used just one of these sprinklers and its coverage. Let's move it and see. And if I move it to the middle, you see that there's a lot of space on either side. Okay, let's just drop it somewhere in the middle. You can see there's a lot of space on either part, right? A lot of space. So now you see that this space would have been the length of this place, now being that it's supposed to be to reduce the issues where this space is not going to be like a blind spot. I decided to like put two, so it covers even more area, right? And I mean, definitely there will be some little loopholes here and there, because you can't really cover everything, but the much you can, you try to, right? So if I move this either this way or this way, you see that it's going to affect the amount of space here, right? So at the end of the day, then you see there's a bit of space here too, and you see that this one was properly, like almost entirely covered, right? It's just like Venn diagrams covering all the, reducing like having overlapping areas of concentration, right? And to make up for the other person's issues, right? That person's lapses. Let's just see it like that way. Another thing to consider is the area, right? Now, typically a bathroom, right? Even when we are doing designing for HVAC, there's the area limit for a bathroom, right? Of about 50 square feet, right? And for sprinkler system, there's a similar area um, um, limit also, right? This is to reduce, being that you can see the size of each coverage area. Imagine installing one sprinkler in a very small area like this bathroom. You see that it's not going to be economic, right? So it's not like, according to the code, you can do extra research on it, and there are always exceptions, right, where you would have to. But in many cases, the smaller the room, the lower the chances of having like its own separate system. There might be like another system to cover for it, right? So now you can see here a kitchen storage. There's one at the center, right? And whenever you can, try to also look at the electrical plan, the HVAC plan, and other plans, because sometimes as I'm designing this, I'm designing thinking that every ceiling area here is free, but that is not always the case. So by the time I get to look at the reflected ceiling plan or the ceiling plan for the electrical design, I see that there are some areas where, because everybody wants to use the center, right? So that might be something you want to look into too. I mean, whenever you can get access to it, please do, just to improve the efficiency, right? So you have a mud room. It's quite small as well, so I didn't put one there, right? Then we have the dining room. There's a bit of space here, but it's not as much as in this case, so I didn't see the need to put double, right, or two to cover that space, right? In this space now, the closest ceiling area is on the second floor, so we can't really install anything on the ceiling here. That's why it's important to have the view, what you think the building should look like, and that's also why I showed you what the building looks like, right? So I mean, so that's how we arrange all around here up to here. And you see this entrance punch, they didn't have requirement for fire sprinklers, right? Because it's an open space. Then this one now is the second floor. This second floor has an open space also, but now that open space has fire hazard in the name of those wooden beams and columns, right? So I had to install fire sprinklers there as well, and I ensured that they aligned with where this wood. Remember that it went up and out. Let's go back to that diagram, right? The 3D. Okay, okay. So that it went up and out, up and down. I'm going to be installing sprinklers somewhere under this, at least has a weight it needs to latch onto, right? So that's what I did here. I mean, I used each of these to show this shows where each of those beams are, and that's where I aligned this to be, right? And also I arranged in such a way that it covers majority of this space, right? So yeah, I mean, another designer could have decided to put it 3 so that they can move this out a little to cover more space, right? Cover more space, but by my own discretion, I decided not to do that, right? So yeah, each bedroom, because these bedrooms now are quite small, you just need just one because the areas left are very little, right? But there's another bedroom that is really large that we had to put up to 3. This is it. So now we this even has a walk-in closet. This is the largest bedroom in this building. There's a walk-in closet, right? And this walk-in closet now has size limitations. It exceeds the size limitations, so there was need to put in fire sprinkler. That aside from the fact that walk-in closet has items that are also fire hazard. Once there's anything like a fuel or cloth or something that can catch fire, it elevates the hazard level of that space, right? So then we have a bathroom. I mean, bathrooms are like quite low. The hazard level is quite low, being that it's almost always wet, right? And humid, but still, because of the size, it could be an electrical fire, right? So yeah, the room too. Now you see how okay, I didn't even see this one. See this one. This sprinkler is here too. I thought it was 3, they're actually 4. So this one needs its own coverage, right? I need to indicate what this one cover because all these other coverage are like hiding it. So it's making it look as if it's not there. So let's copy this and put there. And from the center to the center. So now that one has its own coverage. So now this room is 100% protected, as you can see, 100% protected, right? Then we go to the lobby, protected, right? So now next is to design the layout of the pipes, right? So I'm trying to get something done here. So our building falls into the light hazard classification, right? Where we have 15 by 15, which is means that the entire diameter of the circle will be 15, right? Meaning that the radius is 7.5 as I indicated, and the water density required for that type of hazard is the 0.1, right? So now let's talk about routing of our pipes. We spoke about 2 main types, right, which is the 3 and the grid, right? But it is usually never as simple as this, right? Except maybe you have a hall or like a large rectangular or square space, right? That is when you just follow the spacing rule and then you can just make it look as the way it is here. But when we have like intricate shapes in name of the rooms, you can't always arrange it like this, right? So let's see what we can do for our space. Okay, let's go back here, right? So now this is our step by step of using the AutoSPRINK app to design a sprinkler system, right? So we've laid out the sprinklers, we've used the correct radius now and the maximum spacing too. So another thing I also put into consideration was that as I was spacing out, I did not want anyone to get too close to the wall. That's another reason why I did not put more than one sprinkler here, because if I had done that, I would have been setting one too close to the wall. There's a limit for that as well, right? So it's not, instead of obeying one and disobeying the other, try to find a balance between two, right? So what else? Layout. Okay, let's laying out of our pipes. right? No. Okay. Okay. So let's lay out our pipes. Thankfully, I've done that, right? So I'm just going to show you, and then I'll walk you through how I did it and why I did it the way I did. Right. So we've laid out the pipes for each of these pieces. Right. Remember when I said you should try and find the middle point when supplying pipes, right? So instead of this coming here, right, by the time it comes here, this will be so far away, and then the pressure is going to drop because it's traveling like from one end to the other. So it's good to try and center it. This is a very good demonstration of the three um, arrangement right here. This is it. So it goes to the middle and then spreads to either side rather than going from one side, right? That's what I did here. So and then I also selected where our riser is going to be, right? So this is where I'm going to install it, right? And this riser I'm installing here is going to cover for all the floors, right? So let's move on to the first floor rather, right? So this is the first floor. Now the piping goes this way, right? Now it's also I'm still also trying to follow that middle point. So that is the importance of laying out your sprinklers first, so that you can, as you're going, you can like decide how the pipes will branch out, right? So to branch out to either side to create that kind of balance, right? So these ones were supplied, right? And then these ones too supplied. If you also notice, I also did a bit of arrangement in the sprinklers too. This one and this one are on the same line. This one and this one are on the same line, right? It's not every time you can get it right because the space is not like a square box, right? But you can try to. This one is not on the same line with this now, right? But you see this one that's on the same line. It's just good to try, and then you can see it also in this case. Good to try and maintain that proper presentation when you can, right? So now this has come here and it has divided into this side and this side, right? This one has come here, divided into both sides. Same here, instead of coming to just one and then going to the other, right? So I was just always trying to ensure that it was always getting to the middle and splitting into two, right? To also always share the load, right? And also to preserve the fluid dynamics, right? To ensure that it doesn't um, run out of pressure or flow earlier than it should, right? So this too, same thing. Rather than coming straight here, I had to take it somewhere to the middle and then supply to both sides. Now this is another critical junction, right? And then it comes here, supplies this guy. Oh, there's a lot of bedrooms in this building. Right? Supplies here, and the end point now, or the farthest point, I'm starting to see. I've started to identify the remote area, right? And that appears to be here because this is the farthest point away from the riser. When I say the riser, I'm referring to the setup that permits water into the house, right? And that is around here. And if you notice, I selected this point on all the floors, so there's just one system like a manifold that handles how the water is being distributed, right? Okay, so this appears to be the most remote area because of the height and the distance too. So these sprinklers are the farthest away, right? So yeah, that's pretty much how it is, right? So moving on, what's our next thing in mind? Our next step is to size our pipes. Okay, to size our pipes, add sizes, right? Now I've already shown you how these sizes are done, but let's look at it again. Okay, so this is our pipe sizes, and you can see that being that our building is a light hazard, meaning that for every two sprinklers we need, or for every pipe supplying a two sprinklers, it will be 1 inch. If we increase up to 3 sprinklers, it will be 1/4. Increases up to 5. So this is just basically like going back down the supply. So going upstream where the supply of water is coming from. And by the time you're getting to 10 to 30, you're seeing that it is increasing in size. Right, so that's how we're going to size our pipes. Right, so let's just do so for some, and then I would do the remaining automatically too. Right, okay, give me a second. Okay, so this is what our sprinkler system will look like after we are done designing. You can see that these pipes are very realistic, right? These are the sprinkler pipes. This is what it looks like when it comes back out of the software I'm sending it to. And I've already added these pipe sizes, right? So this is supplying just one, so that's why it's a 1 inch. This is supplying two, sorry, 1 2 is a 1 inch. Remember too that when for one that's supplying two, this one is supplying this two, so it's still 1 inch. But by the time it increases to 3 and 4, these pipe size has to increase too, according to what we have here, right? So we do that and then keep increasing it accordingly as we move, right? And then I mean, as it increases, it doesn't increase as fast as that 1 2 3 4. So I mean, our largest pipe supplying all 6 of them is 2 inches. Right, so let's go over to the next one, which is this. Right, now see that riser I spoke about. Right, this is what the riser will look like. Right, and it has like 3 outputs for each of the floors. Okay, so these are our layout once again, and I even went ahead as far as indicating dimensions to show that these um, sprinklers are obeying the spacing rules, right? So so maximum of that 7.5, 15 between each of them, right? You see this one. So you see the farthest away is this one that's about 12 feet away. So there's no one that is up to 15 feet. Or if there is under just under 15 feet. See this one here. It's farther away just by 14. Right? If it was up to 15, I'll have to bring it closer and then add another extra one, right, to make sure that it meets all of that. So we're talking about pipes, right? So now the farthest point away from here is this, right? So 1 inch, 1 inch. By the time you start going back and then the size increases, you see that the pipe size increases also, and so on and so forth. So what's our next plan, right? To import into AutoSPRINK. Now before we do this, we need to save this as a different copy because now on this page we have so many information that we will not need for the AutoSPRINK app. And like I said before, the AutoSPRINK app is quite fragile or quite delicate because it can't handle so much at once. And we've already seen that this is a very large project, right? So let's go to, okay, I've already created like an extra, I've opened a new DWG file, AutoCAD file, and I've put in each of the, well, I didn't add the pipe sizes here, right? But let me see if I can quickly do that. Okay, we brought in our sizes, pipe sizes, right? Now it's not very visible because, okay, let's do this. This indicates, helps to make it a bit clearer. So these walls are the background information. I don't need them to stand out. I need just my sprinkler information to stand out, right? So this is white and this is gray, faint gray. So next, so that means we are good to go. Let me save this file because this is what I want to take into the AutoSPRINK software. So let's see. So import into the spreadsheet. Okay, let's do that real quick. And I also already named it into AutoSPRINK, so it's easy to find. So let's open the AutoSPRINK app, which is this. All right. So I've already importing it, but if I notice that there's any challenges, we'll have to redo it again. Right. I'm just trying to ensure that we don't spend too much time. Right. This particular software usually has issues once in a while. Right. It's not very close the program. Let's do it again. Right, let's do it again. Okay, so open, go and look for that software, open it. This is this is this is software. So let's import it and 2019. I might need to do like research to see. Oh, it's taking so much time. Let's wait. Okay, we've opened it. So let's create a new file and new drawing so that everything is fresh. As me do it in real time. Okay. So it's pretty much the same thing, right? Import it, turn off some layers, put on this view thing, and then lay out your pipes according to the pipe sizes, so on and so forth, right? Lay out the pipes, then elevate, raise them to the correct elevation. Still taking some time. Okay, okay, it's opened. Okay, I didn't notice. So now let's import that file. So this is the file we need. This is what we need. Okay, this happens sometimes when the file is open in AutoCAD, and that's because if it's open, changes can be made to it. Right, so let's close it. We are done with it. Control, save it, and then close it. Okay, that's another reason why it's important to have a separate. Let's do it again. Oh, it's working now. Have a separate file, right? So in case of any changes, or in case the software makes like any permanent changes, it's not going to affect our drawing. It's good to develop the habit of creating copies, right? In case you need to like refer back to something. So this is a very large project, right? So it's taking much more time than the other coffee shop to come in. We have 3 floors with several sprinklers. I think about 30 or even more. Well, we'll find out eventually. Okay, still taking some time. Let's. Okay, I think it's done now. It's generating. It's okay. Several elements. Right. So let's start. Unfortunately, the scroll bar doesn't work in terms of panning, right? As it does for AutoCAD, right? So I'm just going to have to work without that. And like I mentioned, as you're going, you'll be saving your work, right? Saving your work because software tends to shut down sometimes while you in use, right? So okay, so let's start. So Control S first, so we can save it. So drawing one, just leave it as drawing one. Okay, it's not the right folder. It needs to be here. Okay, and somehow, coincidentally, the name of the file it saves in is a card, even though it's a different format from AutoCAD file, right? But it's a card file. Right. So let's go on. So let's start turning. Okay, we can't do anything until this pans out. So let's start turning off our layers, right? So let's zoom in so we can see what you're turning off. I mean, I don't have to do everything in real time, sure, but to prevent the video from being too long, right? Okay. 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 We have our page titles also for easy identification. Okay. So that's what we can do. Okay. Now let's check this one. How does it affect? Okay. This affect the title block. What title block? I wonder. Okay. Oh yeah, that is the title. Okay, we need those. Do we? I don't think we do. We already know it. But let's just leave it unless it constitutes a nuisance later. Right. Okay. We turn this off. Okay, that's our pipe sizes. Can't turn it off. Okay, we don't need this. We don't need this either. I don't know what this turns off, so I'm going to leave it on until I'm sure. Okay. This is like the floor spaces, I'm sure. The name tags are still in place. Okay, so that is good. That one can remain off. It's just some annotative text, right? I mean, it understands the layers that are available in AutoCAD as well. Okay, we don't need this. No, we do need this. Just this. Okay, you know what? Okay, we've turned off a lot of layers, and you see that our furniture and some other information are no longer here. Right. I mean, this helps a lot because it helps it to be faster and improves the performance. Right. So let's move on. Okay. Turn off redundant layers and adjust to view. We've done that. Now let's lay out our pipes. So we'll do it. I mean, you already understand how it goes, but let's just do it because we need to ensure that we follow certain this thing, right? So come here, right? I don't like that this thing is not snapping. I need to snap. I don't know why it's not really snapping. Right, so pipe is still on. Right. I don't like when it doesn't snap. I wonder what could be the cause. Right. Okay. I really wonder. I've discovered it. It was my shortcut that was affecting it. So F1, F3, these snap points, right, shows indicates where the snap point is, right? Because that would have been a challenge, right? But by the time you don't get it right, it becomes a problem. Okay, we're on track now. So this is a junction. So you snap it, then draw another pipe, snap it, on track, draw another pipe. Now it identifies every point, right? So snap it. Oh, this is not a perfect junction, but it works too. Okay, let's use continuous pipe and see what that does for us. Okay, to this endpoint. Remember that if you hold down shift, it creates a perfectly vertical or horizontal pipe, right? Then this is because it's continuous pipe, that's why it's continuing. Right, escape, repeat. Now we need just one pipe here. Right. Observe how every junction I use a new different pipe because I will have to adjust the sizes. I mean, I could have used one straight pipe down here, but when I need to add fixtures, it's going to be not fixtures, fittings, it's going to be a problem. Right, so we are done with this. You understand how to adjust the size of the pipe, right? Okay, let's do that real quick before leaving here so that we don't have to procrastinate. Right, so all these one that supplying one pipe is going to be okay. This is why it's important to turn off some layers. I don't know which layer this thing is supposed to be in, but it's affecting me. Right, okay, let's see if it's this one. Okay, it's not it. I'll have to remove this car. It looks like it's heavy. And let's see if it's this. I don't think it's this. It's not it. Right. Okay. Well, let's just go on and hope it doesn't affect it. If it does, okay, it's not this. It's going to be one of the ones that has a lot of a high number here. Okay, that is not it either. I wonder which one it is. Okay. Oh, that's not it. Rather, I like either. So these pipes are the initial lines that we drew. Okay. And it has to be on so that it's easy for us to trace. Okay, let's just continue. Right. So now let's go to each pipe. Properties. This is 2 inches, so it's correct. Enter. Right. This is 2 inches also, so it's correct. This is 1 inch, so we need to adjust it. The default, so if you can double click, it also works. The default is 2. I'm sure there's a way to edit it, but I haven't, can't really remember. So you can play around with it and find it. Right. Enter. So we do that for a lot of them. Right. Okay, that is 1 inch. Enter. Now we need another size of pipe. Oh, you see, there's a problem. See this elevation. All the elevation should be on elevation 000 because it's flat on the ground. So there's a problem with this pipe because now it is not on the same point as the rest. If you look at it from maybe here, you can see that it is not all aligned, and that is a problem. Oh, we also have our fittings. We've added our it's not correct. That is a problem. So let's delete it and redo it. Let's check other pipes. See, this is a problem. Right. Okay. So let's see. So this one is correct, but some are not. This one is correct. You see, this is where the problem started from. So let's delete it. Delete this one and go at it again. So sometimes this could be due to there'll be a problem somewhere here. Let's draw the pipe again and see. Right. Okay. Okay. Select the pipe. Now it's not correct. That pipe will be slanted. That's what it means. Okay, let's do something. Delete it. Oh, we can even actually, let's see. I want to try something else. Yes. Try something else. Okay. Okay, let's now click the pipe and see if we can adjust it from here. The 2 points. Okay. Small point is at 0, 0. So what's it taking me below? Okay. 5 hydraulics layout. Start and end point is at 0, 0. I wonder if that is going to be a problem. Okay, you can see start point is variable, but okay, this is indicating that there might be a problem coming up. Right. So let's close this. I don't know why. You see, this is exactly what I was talking about. So I need to turn off an extra layer. Oh, you see how pipe this can be a problem. So let's go again. Escape, escape, oh, escape. Okay. So now we need the data. We don't need that. Okay. Okay. We need the pipe itself. Oh. Okay, that means we are selecting the pipe. Okay, maybe the one we're selecting is under, because we had to add so many pipes that time. Okay. Okay, that's the last pipe now. Can get a bit frustrating, but you just have to get it right. So let's delete this one. We don't need it. Delete. Okay. So now everything has to be under 0 feet, 0 inches elevation, right? So let's draw another one from here. See, this is where problem started. Right. Once it's not, let me see if it's because of this. Okay. Okay. Let's see if that works now. So select this pipe. It's still not where I want it to be. Okay, I've tried adding fittings and it worked despite it not being on the same level. So I mean, as far as the pipes join, it's not going to be a problem, right? But let's just hope it doesn't exactly become a problem later, because sometimes even if it's not a problem now, it might be a problem later. Right. So as far as the pipes are connecting, I feel like that is sufficient. Right. So let's just do for the rest. So far so good. Everything is going well. Escape and then do it again. Escape to remove it. We need just one pipe here, so okay. So now let's start adjusting the sizes, right? Or let them just finish laying it out entirely. I just discovered something, right? So when we are having difficulty snapping to these certain points, you come and play around with these options here, all these things that have snaps, right? Center snap, endpoint snap, the vertical snap. Basically, these snaps, and then it helps to um snap to the point you want it to be, right? Okay, let's see. So far so good. It has worked. Okay. Okay, so this one will stop somewhere here. Right. Because there's a junction here. Right. And then this one stops somewhere here and continues. It's continuous because I selected the continuous pipe. Right. Okay. This is going smoothly. Escape. And then repeat the process here. So we just go to continuous pipe for this. So take off from this point. Hit at this point. And then come here. Escape to this. Right. Okay. So let's set our pipe sizes. Right. So double click on this. and select one, press enter. These two, double click, select one, and just like that, so on and so forth, enter. Right, so let's.
Alright, let me fix it.
So either you double click or you right click,
Okay, can
enter.
you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better. Okay, so this schedule means that when we have at most 10 sprinklers, it's going to be 2 inches, right? Anything above is going to be from 11 to 30 is going to work with this 2.5, right? So now that we've gotten to 10 sprinklers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the next one now is going to be 2.5. Right, so this is going to be 2, and then this will be 2.5, and then it increases like that as it goes up. Right. Now the thing is that for that 2.5 now, it's not before it to increase again, it has to be at least more than this will be 1. It has to be at least this thing 11. Right. So this will be just 1. Since it's just 1, enter. Now all these ones now is still the normal 1 inch because it's a separate branch. Right. This pipe now will be 1 inch since it's supplying 2. Then this one increases since it's 3, increases to 1/4. Okay, just like that. So now that we finished laying out all our pipes, next will be to elevate it. Let's see. Elevate it. Okay. We want to ensure this is what I was talking about that time, that on the same elevation. Now let's hope that doesn't affect us, right? Set and elevate pipes if there are more than one floor or ceiling. Select. Okay. So turn off other layers so that nothing interferes with the selection, right? So I want to select each layer one after the other and elevate. Now to enable me to do that without problem, I'm going to turn off all the layers, right? Except the ones that I use. Okay. So we have, this is the title block, that is title of our page, which is this one is here. Turn it off. So there are 3. Oh, that's all we need to turn back on. That is the space area names, area and names, right? Okay. So we are good to, okay, I don't know what this is, but it should be one of the things that we don't need. Right. The whole point is to avoid things that have, oh perfect. Oh perfect. Exactly what I wanted, right? So now let's hope this does not affect this not being on that 0, 0 elevation doesn't affect. Okay, now back at this architectural file. So we see that according to the elevation, this is the basement, first or second floor. And obviously our sprinkler to be on the ceiling. So this will be the ceiling level of the first floor. 10. First floor ends at 10 feet 6 inches. So put it at 10 feet. Second floor is at 20. Put it at 20 feet because there it should be a bit lower than the actual ceiling, right? And then the final one will be around 28 feet too. So why I'm not using that extra 6 is because I want it to be lower, it's slightly lower by some inches. It's not going to be inside the ceiling, right? So let's go. So that is 10, 20, 28. That will be the elevations of each of the um, pipes, right? Okay, select all the pipes. Let's start with the basement layer pipes. Right click. Okay, elevate. Okay, elevate pipes. fill in the elevation, which is 10 feet. 10, like 10 feet minus 0 inches. Okay. Okay. So everything has been lifted to 10 feet now. So now confirm. Next one will be at least 10. Next one will be 20, then 28. So let's do that. Okay. This is the second floor. So this is the beauty of, so I can select everything at once. Now right click, elevate pipes to 20. 20 feet. Okay. 2 inches. Okay. Right. It's all at this point. Now this is that issue we had where they not always align, but those are just issues of inches, right? I'm not sure how to resolve that, but let's hope it doesn't become a problem. Okay. Let me see if I can change anything. Okay. Edit pipes to middle. Okay. 20. Yeah. Okay. That's the middle should be at this point, right? So by doing this, so still not exactly, but let's just leave it. It's just a matter of inches, right? So we can also notice that our pipes, this main supply pipe is quite big compared to the rest, right? To show that the sizes were followed accordingly. So let's elevate again. It's gonna be at no, that's a mistake. It's not much elevation. It is elevate pipes to 28 feet. Okay. 0. Enter. Okay. This one apparently there's no issue at all. So next on our list is to, after elevating, now we're going to align all of them to one point. So now it's going to, let's confirm what that means. Oh, I haven't added one. Okay, I haven't added that side sprinkler. There's a sidewall sprinkler I've not added. I hope I'm able to come back to it. Right. Okay, to align all the floors together so that we'll be able to place our riser, because after this is to place our riser. Right. And that is our supply point, right? So now we need to turn back the layers on so I can find that point where they all supposed to meet, right? Okay, the point I'm going to use to align is going to be in the wall where they all like rise up, because they're all going to travel up through the wall, through one particular wall at different heights, right? Let's draw that line. So I'll start the line somewhere in the middle, and then I'll change the view. Okay, let's use one of these. Okay, this means I'm drawing it vertically now. So when you draw something and it doesn't show up, odds are you've turned on the layer. Like in this case where I drafted on this, the line was on this layer, but this layer apparently got affected, right? Because you see that it is a sub layer. Right, so now that our line has shown, right? So let's look at it from now. You see that our this thing is taking shape. You see this one is at a different height, right? So let's just finish it. All I'm trying to do is I'm trying to align all the plans above each other, right? So let's confirm that this is on where we want it to be. So I drew the line around here, so I will select this point and see whether the line gets selected. It's now blue, so it got selected indeed. escape is no longer selected. So I'll now extend this line up, right, and see what we can get out of it. I think we need to delete this one. We don't need this one. It's one of the ones that showed up when I didn't need it. Okay, so go to maybe here. Now you see, okay, extend it down. Okay, I'm going to use shift, so it goes straight down. Okay, and then I'm going to take it up. So, no, okay. I don't know what I've done, but that doesn't seem like what I wanted to do. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Control Z. So let's go back to this view. Right? Okay. Let's repeat what we did. Right. Hold down shift. Okay, click it, drag it. No, not drag it. It's supposed to extend it. Exactly. Hold down shift to make it straight. And then leave it. Right. Now we're going to extend it further. The whole point, okay, you can see the different heights. I want everything to be over in one place, right? So now I'm going to drag this, hold down shift, and raise it as high as possible. And so now I'm just going to go back to this view. Now my line is still there, right? Somewhere here. Okay, I need it to be in the middle. Okay. Oh, this is a bit tricky because this is a bit tricky. It's really good to get it right before. Okay, you see, what I was trying to avoid. Control Z. And to avoid, I don't need this one. Let's confirm that our line is still intact. Okay, yes, it is. Okay, go this way a bit. Okay, yes, it is intact. And so let's try and drag the other ones here. Now, how do we do that? We might need to be somewhere around this point, right? So we might need to turn off the wall layer again. Okay, which is this, so that we don't select it by mistake. We just need to align this point, right? Now, a bit tricky, but let's move it. Okay. I'm scrolling as I'm moving. Okay, it's close. I want to align this point to somewhere here. If you notice, it's still on the same height. I'm also trying, let's go back to this view. I'm trying to avoid, okay. So let's move it again. Okay. Okay. Somewhere here. Okay, let's see if it's where we want it to be. No, you see, it adapted, it has snapped to the wrong height, but that's not where we want it. Okay, this is where we want it, right? At height 20. Right, not at this height as this one. Let's look at this other view. Okay. It's still above, but it's not aligning where we want it to align. We want this to be over this point, right? Let's go here. Like, it won't always be very accurate, but we have to try to do. No, we don't want our snap. The snap being on is affecting us, right? So we're going to turn them off. Okay, let's try again. Okay. Okay, it's still at this height. Now it is a bit more aligned. Right, good. So it's now passing through that line. So just do that for the rest as well. Okay, so now we've aligned them all on the same spot. So let's look at it from the side view. So now this is at the height we want it to be. And we notice some of those issues we had when some of those things were not aligning on the exact same point, the same line, is beginning to rear their ugly head. You can see that it's no longer aligning in some cases, right? And some are so severe that it's not joining, right? So let's try to, I mean, at this point it's a bit confusing, but you just have to use your discretion. So I'm going to join this here, right? And then I'll look for other places where seems to be. You see, this is proof that they're supposed to be on the same point. Right, so just make all those changes, right? And then just keep checking here to ensure that they're all aligned, right? So you see that it's a bit better now. Okay, there's some issue in this side. So let me just quickly do that. Right. Okay, because time is not on our side, I've added all the sprinklers. I've done the auto fitting. Just right click and auto fit, add auto fitting, and you should do it one after the other per pipe. If you do for this pipe, it's going to auto fit everything at the end of the pipes, right? And then the whole point of doing one after the other is so that I can confirm that it is actually fitting, because you could easily select everything and do it, but some will skip you and you won't see them. And if there's any point where it's not fitting, you should correct it, right? Ensure that it snaps together so that it is a joint, right? Because if that doesn't happen, when it's time for you to analyze your hydraulics, it's going to be a problem, right? So let's check what's our next thing on plan. So placed our sprinklers, done auto fittings, right? You understand how that works, just that it's going to be a lot more tougher, being that these are a lot more sprinklers, right? So I mean, you have all the different views to assist you. I usually like to do it in this 3D view because that's the only way I can see all of them at the same time. So just place it at all the endpoints where it should be, right? I mean, if you want to like look at it from other views, you can look at it from this view where you see that it is all aligned here. Then the second floor is all aligned, third floor is all aligned, or third ceiling rather. So that's the whole point of all of that. Then if you look at it from the plan view too, see that they are above each other. Although this one is not very clear, sure, but you get the point, right? So what do we have next? Next we select the riser. Now you have shown you how this is done, but let's go over it again. So I've already added the riser in this, but let's see how it was done. So I selected the riser right from here, right? Risers is just what helps to, okay, riser details. Okay. Okay. Now the thing is that you have to select a riser right from one of these. And luckily too, our maximum pipe size here is 2.5 compared to our last design. Right. So you just select one riser from here. Okay. Okay. Now where are we? We are at the point of selecting the riser and aligning it. Now the whole point of aligning all the floors was so that when it's time to select our riser, we'll just simply connect the outlet. There's an inlet here to our riser, and then this is the riser, and then connect that each of the outlets, each of the inlets to the different floors. This is the basement floor, and this next height is the first floor. Then you see another one which is at the last floor, right? So the whole point of all of them meeting at that same spot. So when you look at it from the plan view, you see that they're all clustered in this area, right? That it makes it easier for you to align all of them accordingly, right? So let's go back to this view. Now we have a total of 39 sprinklers here, and you can check that from the layer, right? All the sprinklers added on this page is 39 here, right? And if you check our schedule, once you have up to 39, it means you have passed 30, you have not entered 60s range of 3 inch. So it means the minimum pipe size of pipe that should supply that is 3 inches, right? So that means when you are selecting a riser, you select a 3-inch riser, right? So let's do that. So you press Control and pan with your middle button, your middle scroll button. This is what happens, right? So you go down a little. I want to show you something. So okay, let's zoom in a little. So I've already added this riser, but let's show how I added it, right? So we need, now let's see what this looks like, right? Let's select this riser and drop it here. Now this riser has one inlet, one outlet. Let's go for a 3-inch riser. The 3-inch riser has one inlet and two outlets, right? Meaning that it's already automatic. They're automatically telling you that by the time you have any system that requires 3 inches, it means that you should most likely divide it into zones, right? Where each pipe will handle each zone, right? And if you keep increasing it, let's let's check what 4 inches gives us, right? If you keep increasing it, right? Okay, that is not the one we're looking for. We need four. Okay, let's check an engine. Drop it here. Okay, you can see that the pipe is slightly bigger. The inlet is bigger. The outlets are bigger, right, than these ones. Let's check for 6 inches. Check an engine. Right, I'm trying to select the same type. You see, the pipes are way bigger, right? So it's just automatically telling us that it understands that as you increase the supply or the demand, the pipe size also increase accordingly, right? So let's delete all of this. We don't need them anymore. So now what I did was, okay, I will still need it. I will get it back. So what I did now was that let's go up, added the 3-inch riser, which is this, and I didn't want to do everything here because it will take a bit of time. I added it here, somewhere here, okay, somewhere here, and then being that it came with let's take this, being that it came with two outlets. Okay, no, okay, this is not what we need. This is not what we need. Okay, dual riser. Okay, you can even see from it that it's already even telling you that the dual riser, right? So you can either select the one that is single or dual. So let's select dual riser. Okay, yes, but this is not exactly the one we need, sir. But I just want to explain. Okay, let's see what this one looks like. Okay, yes, this is similar to what we have, right? So what I did here, escape, so I can see it better. What I did was that I just simply, now it has come, but it has closed this one because unless you want it to add it, it won't add it, right? So now you can select and draw this, hold your shift, raise it up a little. No, raise it, right? Okay, let's do that again. Okay. Okay. Ah, okay. 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 So there's an option. Okay, split. That's what I'm looking for. So the open of that split was so that you can is currently while it was dragging, I want it to be separate, right? By the time I split it, it's going to treat it individually. So now I can extend one without affecting the other. So I can extend this one up to the height that I want it to be. Okay, and then this one is different. I'm just going to delete the cap so that it can allow me to, attach pipe, right? So I can select and drop pipe, right? Or I can just come here, drop pipe, right? Okay, this is not okay. Right, it sees this, right? I can also adjust. Okay, when I press hold down, it changes because it's in direction. I want to change it like this. When I press shift, it straightens up, right? So I'm just going to do that. Hold shift and then leave it. Right, I come back to this view. I'll draw the pipe there. Right, so now let me adjust the size of this pipe. Or rather still, it's not even, I'm not going to draw a pipe here. I'm going to extend this existing pipe. Press hold your shift, right? Extend it. Then, okay. I mean, you've seen that it is not at the height you want it to be. You can always move it before we split it. We already split it, right? So now, see what we did here, right? We just had to add a fixture here, and then let's do that real quick. So now, so we've extended this one. Good. Now let's draw a pipe. Or there's an option for draw similar. Hmm? Okay, so if you just select draw a pipe from here, okay, so it has already given it, right? Well, what we wanted to do, right, was by selecting this, select get default from selection, right? What that means is just that it's going to give you a pipe that's similar to the one you're selecting, and then to get it to move in the direction you want, you simply change the view. Now you press shift, it goes up, right? Okay. So now what I wanted to do here is that I will draw another pipe here. Okay. Shift. Okay. So now the whole point of this now is now I want to split it such that one pipe goes to the one floor, one pipe goes to another floor, right? So oh, this is how to select the size of the pipe. I just discovered you press shift and your select, right? So and your scroll button rather. So you press, let's do that again. I was trying to remember it. Right, I knew it, but I just forgot. Right. Okay. Okay, this is what you are playing with. Yes. So what I wanted to do is now after selecting the pipe, you press shift and press your scroll button. You get to select the size of the pipe. It's 3 because it's a 3-inch this thing. If you change it to 1, it changes, right? So Control Z is helpful when you are laying out your pipe. So as you just finish, you just hold your shift and press your middle button and you select the size of the pipe you're drawing. Right. So now if you right click this and put auto fittings, see, okay. So what you have done here now, you have manually created a branch. Right. So now this can serve the 3 floors. So this is, I mean, this will serve one floor, this will serve another floor, and then the pipe splits at this point. It's still connected. Ensure it's connected and serve another floor, as you've seen done here, right? Seen done here. So now you just simply connect this to the basement floor, and then take this one up. You extend it up, maintain the 3 inches, right? Until you get to this point, and then you supply the pipes, and then this final one goes up to the last floor, continues its journey, and then it meets where you extended it. And luckily they are different colors, so you can see the point where it met, right? So let's move on. You're almost done, right? So now we've done all that. Nice. To add water supply from the bottom left corner. We've done this before, but let's do it again. This is to add water supply, right? This is like wants to close. Please don't close on me. Okay, let's just wait for it to get back up. Okay, it's back up. Okay, so now we can delete this because I don't need it anymore. I just wanted to illustrate. Okay, you have to select everything. Okay, delete. Okay, oh, I mistakenly selected some of the floor. Oh, but let's just leave it because it's not going to affect us, right? Now we select our water supply. We've added it here. So you simply just, how you do this, I take here and drag it to this point, right? Now come here and impute our pressures, our flows, and then the supplemental flow to press enter. So what next? So we've set our water supply, right? Okay, I've set all of these. I've selected these as my pressure levels for this thing. Now, if I select this, right, and then I generate my hydraulic, do my hydraulic calculation, and it doesn't work, I'll have to like edit some values, right, according to my discretion. But let's hope it works, right? Turn the floor layer back on and draw the most remote area. Now carefully check the height so it doesn't snap to the wrong levels. This one is a bit tricky, but let's get it. Right. So now, okay, this is the one we are on. Right. Now, I don't mind if that happens, right? So let's get it at this point, right? So I want these are all the floors available, right? This is the basement. This is the first or second floor. I aligned everything to be on the first floor, right? So now we want to select the remote area, right? The remote area, okay, remote area. And in this case, remote area, by just thinking about it, is the last floor because that's the highest floor away, right? And because it's multiple floors, we will not. I'm not going to select the entire space, even though it is less than 1,500. I'm going to select just that last floor, just to ensure simplicity, right? So let's do that, right? But to do that, we need only the floor that is necessary, right? So and then we need to ensure that it's on the right height too. So let's do that. Okay, let's draw our this thing, remote area, and there's the one we select and it gives us automatic according to the size, right? Let's see what it gives us. It doesn't give us an automatic. Well, that's not what we need because this doesn't meet our building, right? Doesn't meet. I mean, so we don't need this escape or delete. And so we draw it ourselves. And how do we do that? We draw it from remote area, right? And then we select the height that we want it to be, which is 28 feet, right? 0 inches to 28. And this to 28. This is to ensure, from what you are seeing here, this is to ensure that the area is placed at the elevation of this, right? Now, those our snap we're using before is going to be an enemy to us now because this our wall is actually on the bottom floor. So you use that snap, it will snap to this height, right? That is this when we turn this on, but we don't want to use that. We want to just use the silhouette of it to draw our line. So I'm not going to turn it on. I'll just mark the inner points, right? By marking from up here, being that the snap is off, it's not going to mark those actual points, right? It's just going to hover at that height I've specified, right? To here, right? Escape. Now let's see what it looks like. You see, it was drawn at the right height, right? If I just that time is on our side, if I had turned these snaps on when I was drawing it, those green snaps showing that it is clicking to those points would have shown that it would have kept this remote area on the ground floor, which is not what we want, right? So careful of that. So now all these many points are just pressure points, right? From, you see that from the point of the riser up until the most extreme, with this being the highest, right? So, and then you can also see that that's giving us ordinary group 1, which is not what we want, right? So it's actually a light hazard, right? A light hazard that has affected this, right? And I think that is pretty much only thing we are changing here. Press enter. Right, I'll adjust the value for you. So light hazard and for 2008. Right. Actually, this building is big enough to have that minimum of 1,500. Right. Right. So I mean, try it on your own and figure out how to do that. Right. So I'm select this from what you are seeing here. From what I'm seeing here, right? The remote area is supposed to be, let's see, put it here. That is 1.5, which is less. Okay, let's try editing it and change it. Right. Okay. So we are saying 1.5 as the area of application. So we don't write how that. It's still 1.5, right? So that means we made a mistake. So we're supposed to have measured 1.5 of this area, the most remote 1.5, right? But it can be tricky to get that. So let's stick with this, right? Let's stick with this. Let me figure out how to get that done. Let me delete this first. Okay, so I'm trying to adjust it to 1.5, and I'm doing that by shifting the boundaries manually. So, I mean, what is it now? 194, we're getting there. Okay, 175. So we're almost close. So let's just move not so fast anymore. 16. Just a little. Okay, okay. It's about 1543. So we need it to be a minimum of 15 or slightly less if you can help it. Okay. Our this thing is on back now. Our snaps are on now, and let's hope that it's not going to affect us. You see, it's affecting it. It's affecting it. That is not good. It's supposed to be horizontal this area. So you see how that is a problem? So we need to redo that. So let's redo it. At least we know that's around here to get 1.5. Right. So let's just draw it again. So we are readjusting it. We're adjusting our area. Ensure that it is on the right. Yes, it's still on the right height. Right, let's check here. Okay, still on the right height. Right, so this is turned off. So now it is, go back to this view. It is 1.4. So let's increase it a little bit. I mean, I think we can work with this because it's not going to have much effect. It's about 1459. Let's just make it a perfect rectangle. Okay. It has included this sprinkler. What is it now? 1507. Reduce it a little. I have to leave out the sprinkler just to, okay. It has rejected that sprinkler now. So it's a minimum of 1.5. So that means something close to it should work too. Right, okay, 1466. Still a bit far. 1466. Let's see. The line is slanting up a little. So let me include this sprinkler and see where it takes us. Okay. Okay. is now at often. This is close enough. This is close enough. Right, this is our area. So now we have selected our area. What is the next thing to do? Generate a remote area table. Confirm that it's on the correct hazard level. Let's do that. Okay. Is at ordinary group 2, which is not. We don't want it to be that. It's supposed to be at light hazard. So double click on it. No. Right click on it rather. No, that's not what we want. Okay. Select it. Right click properties. I change it to the correct group. Everything. This is correct. This is correct. Press enter. Now it has adjusted. Right. So I want to move this so that we can see well. Right. So now, so the information is correct. This for this. Now all these are just pressure points within our remote area, with this being the most remote. This just shows us that this is the point that has the highest. I know I mentioned that the fittings and other things have like roles to play, right? And then the changing directions too. So that's why I can say that you can't. It's not really increasing like in one particular sequence. This now is having this value, while something close by is having this value, right? But basically, you can see that it's increasing to show that the area of the stress points are higher. Right, now let's generate our table, remote area table. So this is it. I'll drop it here. Oh, then so it's positive. This positive means that everything that we put from the key factor of the sprinklers, we left it at 5.6. Right, the total heads flowing. This is just considering this remote area, right? Out of the 39 heads, it's only 14 that are being considered because that is the most remote 14 heads. So everything else is fine. So it means that this our sprinkler system is able to perform well with a positive margin, right, at the most remote area, right? Okay, so what's next? Next is to, we've done all this, to preview and print our reports. Now the reports we're going to need are hydraulic overview, riser tag, hydraulic graphs, and hydraulic analysis. After we do that, we are already done. We're already done. So you know how to print it already. So not here. Okay. So now to get our reports, our hydraulic reports, right click on our remote area, right, and then get our hydraulic reports. Right, now I want you to print one after the other. Which one do I want first? I want the hydraulic overview first, right? So which is this, and then review it. I think I need to even save this file so that it doesn't, in case it, oh please, okay, this is it. This is what it looks like. Right, let me save the file before I proceed. File info. Okay, so we've previewed it now. Let's print it out. Hydraulic overview. So this is not where we want it to be. We want it to be here. I give it the right name. Hydraulic overview, and save it. Oh, this work. Oh, okay. Oh yes, it has worked. Right, so you do that for all the other reports. Right, these are all the reports we need. Let's go for another one. Riser tag. Let's do riser tag next. So there are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 riser tag next. So on deselect this and select riser tag. Let's just print it. No need to preview it. Right, riser tag. Okay, it's already in this folder. I mean, just put all of them in one folder, right? That's easier to find. Okay. I hope it worked. Did it work? If it worked, it's going to open it in this. I got that. Okay. As it does not give me what I want. Okay. Okay, riser tag has come up. It took a bit of time, but it has come up. It says giving you all the information about how it's just the reports, right? So you do that for all the reports, which is like as seen here. Then later you can use Bluebeam or whatever PDF file you have, PDF reader, to combine them. There's a way to combine. Okay, let's just briefly look at what it looks like. Let's go to that folder they are saved in, which is here. So now these are the two. This is one, this is the second one. To open it, or I just create a new folder, right? Or a new PDF, right? So this is my favorite PDF handler, right? So okay, okay, okay. So this is just going to so I'll just go to document. Um, not replace. Insert this to insert a page or a blank page from a document, right? Now it's going to oh God. So it's after. So let's look for so this is just basically what it looks like, right? So by doing that, now I've added it. It was just a one-page document having the hydraulic overview. So I've added it, so you have prepared the documents together. Just do that and align all the reports together so it becomes one PDF document, right? Now, done with that, this is what the step we just finished, right? Now next is to separate the floor plan splitters and then take it back to export it as DWG so that we can take it back to AutoCAD. Right, this one is a bit tricky, but let's see what we can do. Right, right. So okay. So now how we can do this is that we can go from here, this view, right? But to do this, we can just create a copy, right? Like I said, creating a copy is important, but I don't want to create a copy here. But I mean, we're just going to have like a temporary file for this, right? Let's just select each floor and then copy it out. Why is it not copy? Edit, edit. That's still not what I'm looking for. Okay, now let's try moving it out. Let's see. We've successfully done that. Because at this point, you no longer need. I mean, if you can from the start, try and make copies, right? If you can try and make copies, so that when this time reaches, it will not you don't have to tamper with the original file. So you copy this out. So you just move it out like this. Maintain is height. I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter anymore, right? So this one can stay here. Then this one is another floor that you just move out. Like the whole point of doing this is so that you can export it and then they are separate. You see, the layouts are not separate. So this is the basement layout, this is the first floor layout, and this is the layout. So now you export it, file exports to DWG. Okay, let's call it from AutoSPRINK, just like how we do for Revit. Okay, it's in the right folder, and then we watch it, check what we need to check here, and okay, now it's going to create an AutoCAD file for us. So the whole point of doing this now is that we are able to see our sprinklers realistic, that realistic view that we couldn't see in AutoCAD. We see it here, and let's look for it. I hope I hope it works. Sometimes it tends to be funny, right? Okay, let's not be in a hurry. Oh, fuck. Mm. So thankfully when it exports it for us, we're just going to control Z where we move these different floors separately from each other. We'll just control Z it and then undo it back to the way it was before, right? So that we can have our AutoSPRINK file intact, right? And what else? When we export this into the card file, we're just going to align it or like make sure like it aligns with what we have on plan, separate it out accordingly, and print out our sheets, right? So let's see. So when we export it, it's going to look something like this. Yes, this is what it's going to look like. You see that this is what the pipe looks like, right? And then the sprinkler. So now you add your pipe sizes and any other information you think will be necessary. Label your your riser because your actual water supply is the city meter. So you add all this, right? And then your backflow preventer, very important in any water supply system. Then this is the pipe supplying this, and then you see the other two pipes, right? Then also I edited these values 1, 2, 3, so it's easier to count, but you can choose to leave it, right? Those stress points. So on this second floor, you just point out this is that pipe that's coming from that floor, right? It's only the rise is only visible at the ground floor, at the bottom, the most bottom floor, bottommost floor. So that's where you leave it, right? Make it more realistic, right? And then add this, add the height. Just put all the information you need, and then add this too. So in this case, I decided to I was test running it and I used this small space as the remote area, right? But we've seen the correct remote area cuts across, right? So you just add this hatch in your remote area, just redraw this same point, this same area, redraw it in AutoCAD somewhere here, and then add the hatch to call it out like a call out, and then this also comes out together, right? And then now you get to be able to arrange it how you want. So each page has its own each page. Okay, that is the cover page. That is the cover page. And here you now align it like the way you always do, right? And then for each of the pages, right? Now let's try printing and see what it looks like. So preview thing, very fine to look at, right? Okay. In fact, I even made some changes to this work already, right? So that is just pretty much what designing a sprinkler system looks like. So thank you so much for staying till the end. It's quite a long class, but we are through. Right? So if anything that comes up, I'm going to like add it in the description. So thank you.